Hey everybody, today we are going to be taking a look at my Makita Jigsaw. Model 4323. This is a fairly old model. I've had this thing for probably 20 years or better, and it's actually worked quite well. Obviously, very easy to change the blades in it. You can put anything from wood to metal to plastic blades in it. So very useful. Now, recently, I was cutting some aluminum bars out of some windows. So they were about, maybe an inch in diameter. They were hollow. And of course, the glass was still in the window. So I had to use this to cut them with obviously a metal blade because I didn't want to get too close to the glass with my reciprocating saw. Now, this thing was kind of bouncing a bit on there, and I ended up snapping off the guide here. So fortunately, I was able to get a new guide for it. It took a little searching, and I did find it because this particular model is not made anymore because it's just too old. So of course, when I was searching around for it, the question came up, is this still worth fixing? And it is, because the motor still works. I don't use it a lot. It works well. It does everything I need it to. It cuts well. So I didn't want to go out and spend 200 bucks on a new saw. So I think the part was 15 bucks or something, another 10 bucks for shipping. So for 25 bucks, I should be able to repair this. Now this is, I'm going to guess it must be just aluminum or something because I broke it off. One thing I do like about this is it comes with its own little wrench. This wrench is the proper size to change the blades, so you always have it on hand. And should be it's the right size to change out this little guide on the bottom here. So, it takes the whole foot plate off. So I've actually been pretty happy with this saw. It's, I'm sure there's better ones on the market. When I was looking at replacing it, I was looking at going with a battery-powered one because cordless is just better these days in my mind. Because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to fix it due to its age, but fortunately I was. So I do like this saw. It served me well. Don't want to throw it out because of this. So you can see I busted that off there. Now obviously this little wheel goes up against the blade to hold the blade a bit steady. I actually did use this without this guide just to see if it still cut, and it cuts pretty well. When you're pushing through wood, of course, you're putting a lot of force this way, which is what this wheel is designed to. And as you're turning, it actually tracks well, but this wheel will help keep it a little bit straighter. So, this is pretty slick. New part. So you can see this foot part here. This guide goes not on top, not underneath, but kind of goes into this little raised part here. And it is adjustable. So you can move it back and forth a little bit. So let's just get it on there. Okay, so it's not tight, but it's snug. So now what you can see here is I do have a little bit of a gap between the blade and that wheel. And I want to move this thing. There we go. I want to have it just touching. And that'll offer a lot of support to that blade. So let's just tighten this down. Watch me break this screw off, and then my saw is buggered. So you'll see on this saw here, it is variable speed. I usually just keep it kind of set up to 6, which I think is the highest. And you can change that. Depends on what you're cutting. If you're cutting something plastic, I don't know, you can adjust the speed on. I usually just leave it set at 6. It's also got a throttle lock, let's call it, on there. And so if you're cutting ornate designs where you need to have the saw running continuously for 10-15 minutes, whatever, you can just lock this on and then you can guide it. You don't have to worry about holding on the trigger. Quick pull the trigger, pops that back off. In terms of your, let's call it your targeting system, you've just got this wire loop, and might be a little tough to see on camera, but as long as you put the bottom of this loop along your line, that's where it cuts. The blade, you know, the blades do flex a bit, but they are skinny. So overall, very happy with this saw. I don't believe they make this particular model anymore, so if you find something similar, it's definitely handy. I do not use this saw all day long, but it has had a lot of use in 20 years, so good stuff. Thanks for watching.